What's up? It's Alexander Madison, running back from the Minnesota Vikings, and you're watching Clock Management.
It's Friday, October 11th, 2019. I'm Justin, and as always, I'm joined by Perry.
And baby, if you were words on a page, you'd be the fine print.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And today, it's a special day because we're also joined by Jake from Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football.
Hey.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Jake. We really appreciate it. Where can the management team find your guys' podcasts? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, management team can find our podcast at any of the available podcast spaces, at Drinking Fantasy on Twitter as well. I am a Wisconsinite, so you might hear that slip through in the accent occasionally, and I apologize for that. But I enjoy both of the things that are advertised in our podcast very much. The drinking and the fantasy, so that's why I'm so psyched to be here for the Friday episode where you guys do a handy bit of both.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we're excited too. So, all right, you guys can find our podcast obviously on YouTube, also everywhere else you can find podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of those. We have all our social medias, Facebook, Twitter, all of those. And we're giving away a Tyreek Hill jersey autograph to one of our subscribers on YouTube. So make sure you guys subscribe.
Just hit the button. It's easy.
Yeah, and it's our Friday episode, as Jake was just saying. So we're drinking some beer. What kind of beer you guys got?
I've got a Malaysian Night Owl.
Yes.
It's a pumpkin ale. It's one of my favorite. It's the time of the year. 'Tis the season, as they say.
Is it Elysian or Elysian?
Elysian.
Okay.
Elysian Night Owl.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with somebody when I lived in California, and he called it Elysian, and I hated it.
I can't believe you're even drinking that beer after hearing that story. It sounds traumatic.
Yeah. It was rough.
How about you, Jake? What you got?
I'm drinking a Banjo Cat Black Porter. It's from a little tiny craft brewery up here in Madison called One Barrel.
Nice.
Oh, right.
Nice. I got a high water stout called a Campfire Stout. It's from a brewing company up here in Seattle. And I decided to double fist tonight. So I also have a Brass Monkey, which is a breakfast beer. It's an IPA with blood orange in it.
Oh, nice.
Breakfast for dinner.
Yeah,
Good call.
you know. And then I got my dessert with the Campfire Stout. It says it'll leave you wanting s'more.
I see what they did.
Puns.
Jake, do you guys have a pretty good brewery scene or microbrewery scene up there?
Oh, that's incredible. That's one of the main reasons, I would say top 3 reason that I still live in Madison.
Oh, right.
It's incredible. Oh, yeah.
I lived in San Diego for 2 years, and it's really good down there too. So, good vacation.
I feel like around the world, it's just getting better overall. The craft breweries and microbrews.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
One of my buddies actually started one out here. I'm going to be going there tomorrow again to get some more beer of his because I drank all of it.
I think I need to meet this buddy of yours.
Yeah, he'll be sponsoring our show. So in the future, you'll see me and Perry with some. Hit me up and I'll definitely get you a hookup on that.
Perfect.
Great.
But yeah, Perry, you want to get us into some news?
Absolutely, man. We're going into, week 6 already. It's going by really, really quickly. And I don't know about you guys, but being in multiple leagues, kind of makes it go by even faster. I just feel like all week I'm balancing lineups and doing waivers, and all of a sudden here we are again on Thursday, and another game is happening. But
I know, I love it.
We do have some stuff to cover though. A few injuries. George Kittle was limited at practice today. Not good news for somebody that was picked in 4th, 5th round, even 3rd round. For some people, right? So we're not sure if he's going to play or not, but he's officially questionable going into Sunday's game against the Rams. not practicing Friday typically is not a good sign whether or not you're going to play. So if you are relying on George Kittle, I would have a backup plan ready to go.
Yeah, that sucks with tight end too, because now you're gonna have to roster 2 tight ends.
Yeah, we're doing a buy low, sell high today, which we haven't talked about yet, but we will. And we just completely scrapped going over tight ends because the landscape of tight end is terrible.
Decimate.
Mason Rudolph, quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm sure a lot of you that are listening have already seen the replay of that injury last week when he got that hit in the head. You guys both saw it, right?
Oh yeah,
that was brutal.
It was like one of those moments where you're like, oh, he just died. He died.
Oh,
I watched the man die.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, and his career's over.
Yeah. So he is not playing this week, I guess is the moral of that story. Devlin Hodges, third string quarterback for Pittsburgh, is going to be taking over. I've been listening to a few other shows and doing some reading. I might be sitting Juju Smith-Schuster if I have the option. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Is that extreme? Am I crazy?
Oh, it just sounds extreme because of the name, but it's reasonable at this point.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like you hate to say it, but yeah, I think it's you can.
Yeah. The only person on that team I'm starting is probably James Conner, and even then, man, like, this team, I feel bad. The injuries at quarterback have completely ruined the potential for fantasy output this year, but what can you do? That's football. So,
yeah.
Todd Gurley, doubtful for this week. Found the end zone twice last week, so I know everybody's like, thank God it's still Todd Gurley. Yeah, it's still Todd Gurley. He still has half a knee, so he's doubtful to play with a quad injury. If you're not aware, the quad does attach to the knee, so kind of what we expected. I think he probably said, I'm a little sore, and they're like, okay, you're not playing. We need you for the playoffs. So Todd Gurley's out. I like Malcolm Brown a lot. How do you guys feel about Malcolm Brown? It's a possible spot start this week with Todd Gurley out.
I love him. I would fire him up as a high-end RB this week.
RB2, you said?
Yeah, high-end RB2, I think, for him.
Yeah, I agree. I actually, in our main league, it's a small league, so I was looking at actually picking him up, but since it's such a small league, there's no one for me to drop.
Yeah. They are playing the Niners, who have shown that they have a good defense, but I agree, man. I think Malcolm Brown, if he's available and you lost Todd Gurley, start him, man. I mean, almost over like somebody like James Conner. I mean, I wouldn't fault somebody for starting him over James Conner.
Yeah, I think they both have the volume. I think either way, they're both going to be okay just based on how many touches they should get in these games. I don't think Darrell Henderson's going to be sneaking away too much from him just yet. But, yeah.
Totally agree. Tyreek Hill, last week was a maybe. The week before was like a really small maybe. This week it's a game time decision. A little ahead of schedule, right? We were thinking like week 7, week 8 is a possible return for him. Yeah. I'm not starting him yet, right?
No, and Watkins out too.
Yeah, with Sammy Watkins out. We can talk about, Mecole Hardman or
Robinson or Pringle.
Yeah, Robinson. Pringle, man. That's what a name, man. Just so many jokes available there. I lean Hardman. I don't know how you guys feel. I just think the big play is what I'd be chasing there. And
I actually ran a poll on our Twitter about this. Yeah, Mecole Hardman, I believe, was leading in the poll last I looked.
Okay. Even if Tyreek Hill, they say, yeah, he's playing, I'm not starting him. I've made it this far without him. I actually do own him in our main league. I'll wait till next week. If he goes out and scores 2 touchdowns, yeah, okay, I guess that sucks for me, but he could go out and run 3 routes and then be done for the day. So
yeah.
Did you guys watch the Thursday night game with the Patriots and that other team that decided to show up for some reason?
I think if I said no, I would have to stop recording right now.
I think that was generous of you to call it a game, so I applaud you for doing that. I did watch the first half when it was still considered
a
that,
game.
So.
Yeah,
it was.
My God.
Yeah. So Josh Gordon, it looks like he avoided a big injury to that knee, which is it's great, man. I'm a big Josh Gordon fan. I just think that he's fought really hard to get back to where he's at right now, and I don't want to see him, blow an ACL and it just be over. So happy for that. He's got 10 days now because they don't play again until Monday night to recover. I'm not too worried. I guess we'll monitor it. Obviously, you're not making any changes this week because he already played. So just something to keep an eye on. Excuse me. Devontae Adams, that turf toe injury. Justin, you alluded to this, I think, in the last couple episodes. Yeah. Turf toe is really unpredictable. We don't know how long he's going to be out. Originally, they were saying that he might not miss any time, and now it's saying that he could be out for multiple weeks. They just have no real prognosis. So he's not playing this week, as far as I can tell. Or has not been ruled out for week 6, but I don't think he'll play. And I think they're on Monday Night Football, are they not?
They are, yep.
You would know, right, Jake?
Oh, as the Packers homer here, I absolutely know that.
Yeah, I have him on my team in our main league, and I'm not starting him this week because of that.
Yeah. Well, then I'll ask you, Jake. Which wide receiver are you playing? In hopes of the number 1 production?
The great debate.
I personally want none. As much as it pains me to say that, because they're my guys, but I don't like really what I've seen from any consistency for anybody but Devontae throughout this entire year. It's really tough to trust. Detroit's also a pretty sneaky good defense, I feel like. And so I would avoid both MVS and Geronimo if I could. If I have other options, I would be much rather starting them.
I'm going to be asking Slay on Twitter who he's guarding so I could start the opposite person.
Oh, good call. Good call.
Do you think there's a sneaky touchdown for Jimmy Graham as a possibility? I mean, with Devontae Adams, he's like a big goal line guy. Like, he gets a ton of targets there. Do you think maybe Jimmy Graham could be a good play?
I'm actually at this position right now of trying to start Jimmy Graham or Tyler Eifert because tight ends are bad as a position and I have no options.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to lean Graham because I think he has a lot more upside in the touchdown department. So, I could see him even getting a couple this game because I think it will be fairly high scoring.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, personally, I hope that they just keep getting to the 1 and handing it to Aaron Jones.
Hey, I mean, they did that plenty of success last week, so they could go back to that certainly.
I got 2 more pieces here of news. AJ Green will not be traded, according to the head coach in Cincinnati. I mean, man, poor AJ Green. This is why I told everybody before the season started, as soon as that injury happened, avoid AJ Green. He's nowhere near coming back yet, it appears. And now there's rumors of a trade. I feel bad for AJ Green. I guess that's all I got to really say about that. Apparently he will not be traded. So
sweet.
Maybe that should have been news nobody cares about. Hunter Henry is officially questionable for week 6. Not really been super fantasy relevant. But there's always been a lot of hype around Hunter Henry as this next big talent. Injuries have slowed him down, obviously. He's actually recovering. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of somebody else. But he's coming back, but he's questionable for week 6. So if he plays, are either of you starting Hunter Henry?
I mean,
yes.
To? Yeah, I was going to say the same. I mean, like we were saying, the tight end position, it's not like it's a super deep position where you're going to find a great tight end. So, sure, why not?
Yeah. I think 10-team league and higher, go for it. Especially, if you had, if you're dealing with the O.J. Howard fallout, sure, go grab Hunter Henry.
And if you are, why are you still dealing with that?
That's a great question, honestly. Yeah. You should relieve yourself of that worry. It's so much more freeing once you let him go.
Yeah. Jake, I was listening to your guys' most recent episode, and you guys talked about, you guys took the fall for him. You guys admitted, you said, oh, we got him wrong, and you were apologizing. That's not your fault, man. All right?
It didn't feel good.
Not your fault.
It did not feel good. I will say I had such high hopes for him coming into this year.
Oh,
I think
you
a lot
weren't
of us
alone.
did.
Yeah.
I did as well. I drafted him, man. But then I picked up Mark Andrews after week 1.
Oh, so you have nothing to complain about. You're fine.
Yeah, but then I picked up O.J. Howard week 2.
Oh, no. You went on that buy low dip.
Yeah.
And it stayed dipped.
Yeah. I'm still waiting. No, I got rid of him after week 2.
That was the right call.
Yeah. All right. Justin,
all right,
you got news I don't care about?
Yeah, news no one cares about. Man, kind of a big week for news no one cares about. So Brandon Cooks dressed up as the Joker to meet his trainer this week, and he looks super creepy.
I don't like that mental image already.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw the headline and I clicked on him like, oh, he looks creepier than the actual Joker.
That's a feat.
Yeah.
I'm pulling that up right now. I need to see this.
Yeah, I'm going to move on to the next one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go
so
ahead.
Keenan Allen took some shots at Chris Harris on Instagram.
I just saw it, dude. He is so creepy.
Right?
Okay, go ahead. Chris Harris.
Yeah, so how you feel about that, Perry? Keenan Allen taking shots at Chris Harris on Instagram after the game.
You know, I did see this, and this is the second time that he's called out Chris Harris. I think Chris Harris has his number.
Yeah.
I think Chris Harris has his number, and Chris Harris, I mean, is a really, really good cornerback. I mean, the guy plays well. He's one of our best players. Denver fan.
I mean, if I was a great wide receiver, I'd call out like a bad cornerback. Don't call out a good one.
Yeah, I think Chris Harris has his number, man. I think he's pissed about it.
All right, next piece of news. Seahawks mic'd up McDougal, and while he was mic'd up, you could hear him talking about how he was pinching players during a pile.
Just a little how do you do to everybody in the scrum?
Yeah, he's talking about he was pinching them under their armpit.
Ow!
It's an interesting move.
Did he know which armpit it belonged to?
I don't think he did because there's a pile up. But he said they kept swatting his hand.
Kept swatting his hand. Get out of here.
Oh, God. So Rob Gronkowski signs as a commentator for Fox, and he has yet to file his retirement paperwork.
Okay. Yeah. I really don't care about that news.
Right? It just seems like such a Rob Gronkowski thing. Like, dude, you forgot to retire.
Gronk.
Yeah. So Patriots rookie linebacker scored his first touchdown of his career and received his first NFL fine for throwing a ball into the crowd.
Worth it.
You got to hold on to that ball, man. It's your first touchdown.
I know. And you're a linebacker. It's not like you're a running back or wide receiver where, you're going to get plenty more.
Hey, on that defense, he might.
Yeah, that's true this year.
Yeah.
And that's all the news no one cares about.
All right. Cool.
All right. Let's get into some buy low, sell high.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know what that means, because I know we have some first-time fantasy players this year, buy low essentially means you are buying a player at his low value right now. Maybe he's underperforming or underperformed a couple weeks, coming back from injury, something like that. So you're trading low, right? The value is low. You're getting him for less. Sell high, essentially that means you think this player has peaked, whether it be a 1 week peak or right now he's peaked 6 games in and now he's going to start dropping, and you're going to try and sell that player to get higher value back. So very simple. We'll start with running backs. Justin, you want to kick it off?
Well, guests go first.
Man,
Jake, go ahead and kick it
rude
off.
of me.
Flattered,
know, right?
You guys flatter me so. I can kick things off here. My buy low for the running back is Chris Thompson, who is just a guy that nobody seems to care about ever, really.
Yeah.
But it's not that he hasn't given us reason to. He has been wildly consistent this year for really the first time, I think, in his career. He's been one of the more consistent performers. He's a top 24 guy. He's not flashy. He won't be flashy going forward, but he catches a lot of passes, which is great when you're on a team that trails as much as Washington does.
No kidding.
I expect that to fully continue. They're getting Case Keenum back. For how long, who knows? But while he's back under center, I actually like their odds a lot of getting things going. They get Miami this week. That's a freebie.
Yeah.
So you can buy him now for that game, sell him after for profit. I mean, if that's the way you want to do it. But I like him.
Yeah. And I mean, I think also I actually think Miami has a chance to win this game, which is crazy. But yeah, I've always liked Chris Thompson. He's always they always have him on their depth chart as the RB 2 or 3, but he's just their pass catching back, and they're always losing. So
yeah, he's super consistent all year. I mean, if you could theoretically have him right now as your flex running back, but be getting RB2 numbers out of him. So yeah, I like that a lot. That's a good call.
All right, I'll go into mine. I got for my buy low running back, I got Devin Singletary. He hasn't played since week 2, and he's currently on a bye week. So it's been super underwhelming for whoever's owned him. Once they come out of the bye week, though, he's got to compete with Frank Gore, who just does not die. So you're going to have to deal with that. But once he does get through, the Frank Gore,
old man strength.
Yeah, he plays 5 of the worst 8 teams in the NFL at stopping the run in the next 6 weeks. So that's pretty good lineup there. So even if you don't plan on keeping him, you could keep him through those 6 weeks and sell him at the end of those, as he's going to look like a superhero by the end of those 6 weeks.
Yeah, I love Devin Singletary. I think he might be the second most talented back drafted this year. That might be kind of bullish for me to say, but I really like Devin Singletary.
Wow. Second, that is impressive, I will say. But to be fair, I guess a lot of the other guys have been kind of underperforming. So yeah, that holds traction for sure.
Josh Jacobs is number 1 for me. Justin has fully pulled me into that camp. David Montgomery, I don't know, man. I feel like he's actually gotten quite a bit of opportunity and hasn't done anything with it. Sanders is the only one that's really competing, I guess, for that number 2 spot in my eyes. So I don't know.
Sanders is a fine wine kind of situation. We're gonna have to wait for that to age a little bit and get good.
And maybe go to a different team, because the Eagles love that running back by committee.
No kidding. Jeez. Okay, so my buy low is Melvin Gordon, which if you've been playing fantasy for a while, you never really thought you'd hear you could buy Melvin Gordon low. But coming back from his holdout last week, he had 12 rushing attempts and 4 receptions. So 16 touches in his first week back. I know it was kind of underwhelming, but I think it was kind of game script related, because they were down 14 points right away, basically, to my Denver Broncos, just saying. But I honestly think, getting 16 touches in his first week back, you could be looking at 20 touches this week. He's going to get the goal line work. He is the feature back. The team's already come out and said it. The reason that help me out, Justin, the other running back there.
Austin Eckler.
Yes.
Austin Eckler, thank you. Drawing a blank. Friday beer. Austin Eckler had so many receptions because they were down, man. It was just like we were talking about with Chris Thompson. When you're trying to play catch up, you're going to throw the ball, and a lot of times that running back coming out of the backfield is the safety blanket that you need. So Melvin Gordon right now, I think you can get him for very cheap. You could probably get him for a bench player almost, or even like a flex player, and you could be getting RB1 numbers. I mean, theoretically, he's not coming back from an injury, so we're not hoping that he's recovered. He's been healthy. He just wanted more money. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love Melvin Gordon, so I'm completely on board with this.
Yeah. Okay, so sell high running backs. Go ahead, Jake.
This one's fresh in the old memory banks here, but it's Sony Michel for me. After last night's game, the half that I watched, it was pretty evident to me that it's not going to be Sony Michel is our first round draft pick. We're just going to keep using them. It's going back to the Bellatrix. We don't know who is getting involved in that backfield. Brandon Bolden, what were you doing out there so much? I did not enjoy that. Yeah. And then all the Tom Brady QB sneaks at the goal line. What?
Back to back.
When 49,000-year-old Tom Brady is getting more rushes inside the 5 than Sony Michel, that's a big problem. But he scraped together enough fantasy points where if people in your league were only looking at the final stats, well, it's a good day for him because Sony had a very respectable day, ended up with 86 yards rushing, 27 yards receiving. I mean, he crossed 100 for the day. So if you can sell him on that basis to somebody who thinks that he's coming around, I think you should, because if you watched how they were using him, I lack a lot of confidence there.
Yeah. I'm completely on board with this.
It's really weird. I almost wonder if maybe Sony Michel isn't as good as we thought, because he had 22 carries last night.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. And the fact that he had 91 yards last week and a touchdown, and he did well this week yardage-wise, I think you could actually sell him for quite a bit. So that's a really good sell high.
Yeah, I love it. And I love the Bellatrix.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Hashtag patent pending.
All right. So we're doing our running backs. Ooh, sell high, right?
Yeah.
My bad. Got a little sidetracked. All right. So for mine, I know Perry disagrees with this already, but my sell high is Nick Chubb. My big thing is the closer we get to Kareem Hunt coming back, it's going to end up being a running back by committee there. And I don't want that sort of thing going into fantasy playoffs. So I'm going to try and sell him for a player like Devin Singletary too. So that way I have a player that I think can carry me forward with better production for longer.
Oh God.
That's a hard line. That is a hard line stance.
Yeah, that is a hot take. Pass me some milk, because that is a hot take.
I know, but I mean, it takes a hot take to win a fantasy championship.
I don't disagree that the workload will go down when Kareem Hunt comes back. I just don't know if I'd fully commit to a running back by committee that'll be happening. I do think he'll steal some work, but
I think there's going to be weeks that you're not going to want him in your starting lineup. Not every week, but there's going to be weeks that happens.
I will say the way that this offense is looking in general, it does have me a little bit nervous that they're going to be able to lean on him as much as they want to. I mean, I know that he does get receiving work, but still dicey.
I've been selling Brown since week 1, so
I think the passing work is where that becomes interesting, because I think Kareem Hunt is probably a better pass catcher than Nick Chubb. So that's probably where he's going to lose the bulk of the work. So I can see it. It's not crazy. It's just pretty spicy. Okay, let's move on to my sell high running back, which is Matt Breida, coming off that monster game on Monday Night Football. the bottom line, I don't think Matt Breida is a bad running back. I just think he's kind of injury prone, and he's sharing the backfield with Tevin Coleman. I don't think that Matt Breida right now is as good as Devontae Freeman was when Devontae Freeman was good. So I don't think that they can quite coexist and both be super fantasy relevant. Tevin Coleman, thank you. I don't think they can be super fantasy relevant. I think there'll be weeks when Matt Breida is really good, and I think there'll be weeks when Tevin Coleman's really good, and I think there'll be weeks when they're both okay. But I just don't really want to have to rely on that or figure that out week to week.
And then you're going to have a week somewhere in there where Mosert's really good.
Right.
And here comes Jeff Wilson and his 3 touchdowns for some reason.
Exactly. So I think there's a lot of hype on Breida right now because he just came back from injury and then he had a great week and everybody's very excited about that.
And the 49ers running game is amazing this year. The problem is it's with so many people.
Yeah. And here's me coming full circle on this. I think you could possibly offer up Matt Breida for Melvin Gordon. And there might be people that would be willing to do that, especially after Monday night. So I would try that if I was a Matt Breida owner. Is just try and go get Melvin Gordon, right? And
tell your wife to accept that, Perry, because I am the Breida owner and she owns Gordon. So,
dude, we both know neither of us tell our wives to do anything. Okay. So Matt Breida, go ahead and sell him high if you can. Go get something better.
I love it. So
okay,
let's move into wide receivers. Yeah. Jake?
All right. My buy low is somebody that I have been so feverishly on board with since this offseason. It's Robbie Anderson for me, and it's been a long wait. I have Robbie Anderson in every single league that I am playing in, and I have not been able to start him, but that is changing. Sam Darnold is coming back. That is what he needed so desperately. He's been stuck on this QB carousel, which is the same thing that kind of happened to him last year, and that's why it took so long for him to get going. Once he got going, he was incredible. Down the stretch last year, he finished as the wide receiver 2, I believe, over the fantasy playoffs. With Darnold under center, he was on pace for 109 targets, 58 receptions, 881 yards, and 7 TDs. I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting more. So
twist.
I am all about going to get Robbie Anderson because he's had nothing going so far. But I think that changes once the QB changes.
How much do you think you're going to have to pay the waiver wire for him?
You can pick up Robbie Anderson right now for a bite of a ham sandwich. I promise you. Nobody really wants him right now.
I do really like a ham sandwich, though.
Well, then you're in a tough bind, man. You are in a bind.
That's a good one. I totally forgot how good he was down the stretch last year. He was really good.
I really like this. I actually was targeting to trade for him in our Dynasty League, Perry, but the person was unresponsive.
Oh, those are the worst.
Yeah.
They are the worst. Oh.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
We'll see.
Thank you.
It's been 2 weeks. Maybe they'll still accept.
There's hope. There's hope.
All Justin? Right. So my wide receiver for buy low is John Brown. And he's not super low currently, but he plays for the same team as Devin Singletary. So it's for a very similar reason. He has some awesome matchups coming up. He also only has 1 touchdown so far this season. And he's been seeing somewhere around 5 to 11 targets in that range, like as low as 5, as high as 11. And I expect that to increase slightly over these awesome matchups he has coming up. And he's been averaging 75 yards a game. So when you put those together, he should be more valued than where he is currently. So I think you could get him. You're not going to get him super low. You're not going to get him Robbie Anderson low. But I think you could trade for him and get him for much under where he's valued currently. And he's going to get some touchdowns in there. I could see him finishing like the next 6 weeks as low wide receiver 1, high wide receiver 2. And then again, just like with Singletary, if you want to shop him after week 12, I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah, I've liked John Brown for a long time. I really want to see him throw together a season, like a full productive season.
Healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, please stay on the field and do what I know he can do. Man, you've tried to trade me John Brown a few times. Are you sure you're buying him low or are you selling him?
Well, I'm buying him low right now. And then at the end of, like I said, at week 12, you'll be getting another trade offer.
Okay.
So make sure you forget everything that you just heard.
Yeah, apparently. Okay, so my buy low wide receiver, maybe this one's low hanging fruit, but it needs to be talked about, and that's Odell Beckham Jr. Man, I don't think Odell Beckham's value has ever been lower than it is at this very moment. I think gone are the like incredible wide receiver, like top like wide receiver overall number 1 numbers for this season. I don't think that's happening this season. I think I'm on Rex Ryan's side. Baker Mayfield's overrated. I don't think he's very good.
That's going on a t-shirt. Perry, I'm on Rex Ryan's side.
That could be the bumper sticker, Justin.
I love it.
Jake, Justin and I had a bet this year. I took
Alshon Jeffrey.
Alshon Jeffrey
I know,
over
it's forgettable.
Cooper Kupp. Over Cooper
no.
Kupp. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. What are you going to have to pay?
The winner gets to choose a bumper sticker for the loser.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So,
well, I'm sorry that. Okay. Maybe you can try and come up with an idea that can top that idea. That's less shameful to put on your card.
Probably not. Right now, the favorite is I'd rather be vaping. So.
I like it.
Anyways, let me get back to Odell Beckham here.
Baker Mayfield should say that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ooh, burn.
Gosh, we're never going to get on track. Bottom line, anytime you can get a player at the level of talent that OBJ has for as low as his value is right now, I think you should definitely do it. I guess I'm kind of jumping the shark here, but my sell high is Will Fuller. I would try. Like, is it crazy to be like, hey, Odell Beckham Jr. owner, how about Will Fuller? And maybe that could happen.
I think you may need to package someone with them.
Maybe, but I would love.
I could see, like, if you did a Breida and him, you might be able to pull that off.
See, I even think that's too much, but whatever.
I agree. I agree. I'm just saying where I think it'll happen.
Start low, be ready to add those guys if you have to.
Yeah,
maybe for
exactly. Exactly. Always like offer your smallest amount that you're willing to give. But I think like obviously you wouldn't be giving up a number 1 or number 2 wide receiver for Odell Beckham Jr. So he could end up being your 3rd wide receiver. And if things don't work out, I mean, you're only losing your 3rd wide receiver. So, my buy low is definitely Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
I love it. I've been taking that advice and been trying to get him everywhere. I will say some owners must listen to your guys' show because they've been clinging on. They're not quite willing to part yet, but we'll see.
I'll say they're listening to Perry because I have been telling everyone since day one just not to own Odell Beckham.
You are my man. I came into this season and I said, I didn't even think this was a hot take, but I posted on Twitter that Odell was going to be outside the top 8 receivers just for redraft this year.
Yeah, I said wide receiver 2. Yeah, and I received a lot of hate.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy. I was like, look what Baker did last year, and now there's more talent. How could it not work? And man, I was wrong. I was definitely
like
wrong.
This, Perry. It works like this.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh man. All right, so let's get into our sells, right?
Yeah. Sell high wide receivers.
I am. I'm even reluctant, and I've wavered back and forth with him, but T.Y. Hilton scares me right now. A lot of it is to do with the injuries, and he's getting up there a little bit now in age to that point where it's not so easy to bounce back from injuries. I'm thinking of A.J. Green for the last 3 years, essentially. Yeah. And he's got a quad thing that he's working through right now. You could tell that he wasn't right when he played against Kansas City. He's got the bye week to hopefully figure some things out, but I don't want to wait. His schedule's not bad, but I don't want to wait to see what happens with that, because I'm just so nervous that he could re-injure that at any time. So based on his first 3 weeks and his name value, you should still be able to get quite a bit for him, especially in redraft, and I'd be okay moving on.
Yeah, I mean, that one feels bad, but I think if you look at it logically, it makes sense.
Yeah, I think the way that Jacoby Brissett's playing too, how well he's playing, actually helps your argument with people willing to buy him when you're selling him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It feels bad.
I think Jacoby Brissett's been playing really well as a real life NFL quarterback.
Oh yeah.
For fantasy purposes, I'm still queasy at the thought of relying on that connection. But yeah, from a real life perspective,
oh man,
it's been great.
I had one league where I had to rely on him for the first 3 weeks because it was a crazy league where almost every team had 2 quarterbacks, and I was the last person to draft a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Bad spot to be in.
Yeah. Gardner Minshew's my quarterback now in that league.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Minshew mania, dude.
Right?
I'm buying high on that one.
Yeah. He's on the waiver wire, so. Well, in that league he was. All right, so my sell high is Tyler Lockett. So, I mean, as me and Perry have said, every time I mention Tyler Lockett's name, it means he's going to have 3 touchdowns in the next game.
Yeah,
so, so you should probably pick him up. But
is this a Beetlejuice situation that you figured out here?
Yeah,
I think
if you
so,
say his
man.
name enough, okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to get on the same page there.
Yeah, exactly. Like every time we start talking about why you should not have Tyler Lockett on your team, he just goes out and proves us wrong
Every time.
But his targets over the season this year, he has 2 targets week 1, 12 targets week 2, 14 week 3, then 4 and 4. That's not good. Like you don't want to see your, even your number 2 wide receiver having 4 targets a game. But he finds the end zone. He's been finding the end zone, so he's extremely touchdown dependent. It's just ridiculous, his touchdown to reception ratio, and it's unsustainable. So he's not going to be able to maintain that. And especially with the hype over that touchdown catch this last week, because that was an amazing catch. That was all over the news and stuff. People going to be all hyped on him. I think you can sell him and actually get something out of him.
Oh, yeah, you could definitely get something for Tyler Lockett. I think you and I might be the only people that don't like Tyler Lockett.
Yeah, and if you have Seattle fans in your league, then yes.
Yeah. How do you feel about Tyler Lockett, Jake?
I'm firmly on your side with this. I've been hesitant about him, going back 2 years, where it seemed like he was doing the impossible a couple of years ago, and then last year it got impossibler. And I'm expecting to flash forward 6 years, and we're still talking about, Tyler Lockett can't keep up this pace, and he just is doing it. But I don't know how he's doing it, but the rational and statistical side of me says that it cannot keep happening. So I'm on board with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a buddy who's a big Seahawks fan, and he gets upset whenever we talk about Tyler Lockett not being a number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't please everybody, especially those irrational Seahawks fans. I'm still bitter about the fail Mary, so don't give me any credence here.
I'm still bitter about the Super Bowl, all right?
Yeah.
I had to live here for a year after that.
Yeah,
Understandable.
I'm a 49er fan. Like,
Yeah.
it's just been a
Well,
rough
hey, you're in the
years.
you're in the heyday right now, though, so you should enjoy these moments.
Right?
I don't know. 49ers fans aren't even humans in Seattle, apparently.
Yeah. Oh my God. I got no problem wearing my jerseys to Seahawks games, though.
All right. So I already kind of alluded to this. Will Fuller is my sell high wide receiver, mainly because 16 targets, which is the number of targets he received last week when he had that insane week. Pulling up the log right here, 217 yards, 3 touchdowns. None of that is repeatable. I know Will Fuller is talented, and everybody's expected Will Fuller once he's healthy, he'll be amazing, but he's never healthy. I think even more likely than what happened last week happening again is that he just gets injured. Unfortunately, everybody's hyped on Will Fuller. He's ranked extremely high on all kinds of platforms. I think you sell him right now. Tomorrow morning, start shopping Will Fuller. Go get something that's more consistent in any position, really. I'm not starting Will Fuller in any league just because it's a torn ACL waiting to happen.
Yeah,
I love it. I'm
too
so
fast for
with
his
you.
own good.
I mean, 16 targets.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I feel like he's just too fast for his own good. He pushes off so fast, it just destroys his own leg.
Not to mention, there's another really good wide receiver there in DeAndre Hopkins, who is.
That was almost my buy low.
Yeah,
I changed from it.
He could easily have been a buy low candidate. I would actually probably rather have him than Odell Beckham Jr. So.
All right.
Well, Kenny Stills is coming back there. Kiki Cutie is starting to get worked in there. I agree that's unsustainable.
Yeah, there's just too many targets there, and he's not the undisputed number 2.
Right.
All right, let's get into quarterbacks.
Oh boy.
I'm buying low on Josh Allen right now.
Yeah,
I am so impressed that what he's been able to do has flown so far under the radar to this point. He's currently the QB 13, and he has plenty of room to grow coming out of this bye week. His next 4 matchups are so tasty. It's the second best strength of schedule for quarterbacks for these next 4 weeks. I love it, and he's been doing the things that made me nervous last year, those runs, but he's been doing them in a way that's made me less nervous. He's protecting himself a little bit more. Not as much as I would like to see, but he's protecting himself a little bit more. He's getting the legs to work, and he's really improved as a passer. But again, he's still kind of under the radar. He had a moderate breakout game against Tennessee, but I think you should go get him right now while his price is still reasonable.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I love Josh Allen. For all the reasons that we loved. Oh gosh, who'd he replace up there from Buffalo?
Tyrod,
thank you. For all the reasons we love Tyrod Taylor. Everybody preached Tyrod Taylor for, 2 years, 3 years of, well, he's got such a high floor because of the rushing. I mean, well, that's Josh Allen all over again. There's no reason why it's different. I think Josh Allen's just more talented overall.
Yeah, arguably a better passer, I would say.
Sure.
Yeah, and he's got more of a team around him, I think, too. I mean, they had Sammy Watkins there, but running back wise, he's got 2 good running backs there with Frank Gore and Singletary.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a good one. Like it. Justin?
Yeah, so my buy low quarterback is Carson Wentz. Me and Perry talked a lot before the season started about not drafting Carson Wentz. And because there's so much hype around him, he is going to be the MVP of this year before the year even started, which was ridiculous. But the Philadelphia Eagles, they've lost 2 straight games. Wentz has had awful games against he had an awful game this last week against the Saints. His owner probably wants to cut him. So I think you could probably get him for super cheap. And the Eagles are they're still competing for their division. So they got a lot of like room to go here, and their secondary is horrible. So they've been getting into a lot of shootouts. So he should be throwing the ball a lot. And then also at the end of the season, like when you're in the fantasy playoffs, this is his lineup: Miami, the Giants, Washington, Dallas, and the Giants again. Those are great matchups.
Yeah,
so,
it seems all right.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's just sexy for going into the playoffs.
Just ask New England.
Right?
That's a good one. Yeah, I agree. I like Carson Wentz going forward. It's crazy how low he actually is right now.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about. Like, people overvalued him at the beginning, so now because of their lack of expectation management, they're gonna sell him for super cheap, and you can, benefit from that.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, my buy low, and I'm gonna pivot here just a little bit. My buy low is gonna be Jared Goff, mostly because their strength of schedule for the next couple of weeks is really juicy, but they're also apparently going to have him throw the ball like 900 times a game. So while he might turn the ball over like 3 times a game, he's going to get like 400 yards and a couple touchdowns at least. So I can live with that, with the talent at wide receiver, with the talent at running back, and the fact that, yes, they have to get through San Francisco this week, but then they get Atlanta and Cincinnati before their bye week. Those could be 2 huge games for Jared Goff. And when I say buy low, he might very well be on waiver wires, and you can just go grab him. But this is probably more relevant in like 2 quarterback leagues. So yeah, it's Jared Goff, not because I think he's all that good, just because I think he's going to be fantasy relevant.
Yeah. I like it.
It's hard not to be, yeah. With that crew, look, they're going to get things clicking. I trust that offense so much, with or without a healthy Todd Gurley, honestly. As long as Cooper Kupp is still there to catch 90 passes for all of the yards, then Goff is going to be fine as well.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, as a 49er fan, again, I'm going to have to say not this week, though.
This week might be a little rough, but I mean, they played Seattle last week, and he still had 395 yards and a touchdown.
No, I honestly think that. Oh man, all right. So I think 49ers have a better defense than Seattle.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
I just want to make sure I'm not being biased here.
They were. In
you
Seattle.
Might be, but you're also being accurate. So it's fine.
They were in Seattle, and I think going into Seattle is always tough.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I think at home against San Francisco, he could still put up 350 yards and 2, but he might throw 2 interceptions as well. So, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You sold me.
All right. Sell high quarterbacks. To you, Jake.
I am quibbling not at all about this one. I had hesitations about some of my other guys, but I've never been more confident than I am in this name, and it's Kirk Cousins. Please get him off your roster if you have him there. If you thought that you could scoop him up after this last game against New York, where he had a season-high 306 yards and 2 touchdowns, then by all means, this is your opportunity to just turn around and sell him right out. If you want to wait for this 1 week, he has a good matchup with Philly. So I get it. If you want to hold him for 1 week, feel free. But after that, you get him off your roster. He's averaged just 200 yards a game passing. He's only had 2 touchdowns in 1 game. Otherwise, it's been 1 or zilch. It's just not looked pretty, and their offense does not go through Kirk Cousins. It goes through Dalvin Cook. Yeah. And for fantasy purposes, I don't trust a quarterback that is in that situation.
Yeah, I think there's an error in the statistics because I'm pretty sure Dalvin Cook has like 800 yards receiving too.
That adds up. So 150 every game went to Dalvin, and then like 20 to Thielen.
Yeah, I'm so happy that he had 1 good game, so that way we could tell people to avoid him even more.
Exactly. Now you can sell him instead of dropping him outright.
Kirk Cousins has been terrible.
Yeah, they just don't, like you said, the offense goes through Dalvin Cook, so why like vary from that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
Why mess with the rest when you can have the best?
Turn right.
All right, so my quarterback is Teddy Bridgewater. Last week he came in. Well, he's been playing for a couple weeks now. He threw 4 touchdowns though last week. So I mean that's amazing. His stats look fantastic. But if there was ever a time to sell him, it's now.
My stream of the week, by the way, last week.
Yeah, which is great for a stream, and then you move on.
I nailed that one.
Yeah, and now the great thing about that stream of the week is now you could turn that stream for a trade.
Turn that stream into a dream.
Yep, get a player out of it.
There's your bumper sticker.
No,
right there.
No, it's not supposed to be a good thing.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That'll be my bumper sticker. Oh God, but yeah. So now you could get something out of it. So go ahead and trade him. Bring some value to your team. Next week he's playing Jacksonville and then Chicago. So you need to do it now. If you don't, you're going to regret it, and you're going to have to drop him from your team and find a new stream of the week. So Perry, you're going to have to keep on that.
I'll try my best, man. My stream of the week is, I don't know. My sell high quarterback is Lamar Jackson. Okay, I know that sounds like crazy because Lamar Jackson's been so good. And I actually think he's going to continue to be good. I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to be bad. But in most 10, 12-team leagues, there's like 15 startable quarterbacks or more. And I just think Lamar Jackson right now is like the talk of the town in the NFL. And you could really get a lot of value for Lamar Jackson in a different position that has more scarcity. So that's why I'm selling Lamar Jackson. I could sell Lamar Jackson and go pick up like Jameis Winston or Phillip Rivers or something like that off waivers, but get like a running back 3 or a wide receiver 2 or something like that. So I'm gonna sell Lamar Jackson.
No, like I told you before we recorded, I completely agree. As the Lamar Jackson owner in our league, I've been trying to trade him actively. So hopefully I can pull that off.
Basically, the only quarterback for me that is completely untradeable, as in, like, there's no way I'd give him up, and is Patrick Mahomes. Otherwise, I mean, even with Patrick Mahomes, I'd listen to offers. So
I was going to say, what's interesting about Mahomes? I tinkered with the very idea of putting him in here, and I said, "There's no way I can do it because I wouldn't want to come on your show and just blow things up so extravagantly." But he does have the very worst strength of schedule in the entire NFL. He is playing on one leg right now, with and without a lot of his key guys around there that are kind of in and out. So there could be a world. I'm not saying that I would do it, but I could see a world where I would sell him and not feel bad about it.
I would do it.
I mean,
I'm bullish though.
So week 12 is their bye week for the Chiefs, and then their schedule is Oakland, New England, Denver, Chicago for week 16, which is the fantasy championship.
Yeah, that's so brutal.
I don't want to start my quarterback against Chicago any week.
Or New England.
England.
He is a matchup-proof guy historically, but they're starting to show a few glimpses of weakness there. So I don't know if that will persist through the season. So I would be timid playing him in my. I mean, I'd still do it. Let's be honest. I'd still put him in my lineup. But
if I have him on my team, he's playing. But I would not be opposed to trading him.
Yeah, if I got the right offer, I think I'd do it. It's scary, but
I don't know who it would have to be for me to accept the trade, but it'd have to be someone good.
Yeah,
like give me Dalvin Cook.
Give me Robbie Anderson straight up. And I'll do it.
I mean, like in all seriousness, is Josh Jacobs? Is that too crazy? Like, would you take Josh Jacobs?
I wouldn't if I think you could get more.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, I would take Josh Jacobs and another player. Like, give me Josh Jacobs and Devin Singletary, and I'm happy.
There's somebody in the world that would do it. So.
Oh yeah. Also, I got a sell low that I didn't tell you guys about, and that's
sell low.
Yeah, it's T.J. Yeldon. Just get rid of him.
So you know that bite of ham sandwich that I talked about earlier. So this is where somebody sat on it and then found it later.
Yeah.
And they said, "Will you take this for T.J. Yeldon?" And you say, "Absolutely."
Yeah, exactly.
Justin hates T.J. Yeldon.
That's a weird guy to hate.
That's what I said.
You do you. It's your show. You do you.
What?
Yeah. Me and him have an ongoing beef that he's not yet aware of.
All right. Well, that's all we had for today. Jake, one more time, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find your show.
Yeah, you can find Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football on all the major podcast operations out there, specifically iTunes. You can find us on Twitter at Drinking Fantasy. You can find me at Jake Trowbridge.
Awesome.
Yeah, and make sure you guys follow him on Twitter too. Lots of hot takes.
Yeah. I listened to their most recent show. It's great. It's great information. It's fun. You guys have a great show. Good thing going there. Good chemistry.
Thanks, guys. I much appreciate it. Now, I would never say this to my co-host face, but this has been the most enjoyable podcast I've done in a long time. So yeah. I really love being on here.
All right. Awesome. He just followed us on Twitter, so I'm going to send that directly to him in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right. All right, that's fair.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys all Tuesday.